Listen, because I'm about to ask you a single question that will reveal the exact nature of your entire future. For the next few minutes, I want you to forget everything you think you know about success and mindset. Because what you're about to hear will dismantle the biggest illusion that keeps most people living a life of quiet desperation. There are two forces at war within you. Right now, one is a current of defeat. It whispers that you're not enough, that your past defines you, that playing it safe is the only logical move. The other is a current of power, a force that sees obstacles as fuel, that treats failure as a necessary teacher, and that understands the mind is not a cage, but a forge. Which current is steering your ship? The answer has nothing to do with your intelligence, your bank account, or the circumstances you were born into. Those are just rocks in the river. The true captain of your destiny is something far more fundamental, yet almost universally misunderstood. It is what the ancient philosophers and modern titans alike called the master mindset. This isn't about repeating happy phrases. This isn't naive optimism. This is a deep architectural shift in the foundation of your consciousness. It is the deliberate engineering of your inner world so that your outer world has no choice but to reflect it. I have spent my life studying the patterns of history's greatest creators, builders, and thinkers. Not just their successes, but the crucibles that formed them. They all shared one non-negotiable trait. It wasn't genius. It wasn't luck. It was an unassailable command over the territory of their own thoughts. They understood a secret law: your mental atmosphere creates your physical reality. So, let me ask you that first question plainly. What is currently in control of your inner dialogue? Is it a committee of fears, broadcasting worst-case scenarios on a loop? Is it a chorus of past criticisms, replaying old tapes? Or is it the steady, clear voice of your future self, the one who has already achieved what you seek? Your mind is never empty. It is always occupied. If you are not the deliberate landlord of your mental real estate, then you are merely a tenant, subject to the whims of every passing thought and external influence. This is the critical junction. The moment you realize you possess absolute sovereign authority over one thing, and one thing only, the attitude you choose to hold. This realization either liberates you forever, or it exposes every excuse you've ever clung to. What you consistently believe, you begin to embody. What you persistently focus on, you start to attract. What you dwell within emotionally, you eventually walk into physically. You might object, but I've focused on good things and still got hit. Then I must ask you, what is the towering, non-negotiable purpose that defines your life? A soul without a purpose is a ship forever lost in calm seas, because a powerful mindset cannot be built in a vacuum. It must be anchored to a why that is so consuming, so magnetic, that the very notion of surrender becomes laughable. Show me someone drifting without direction, and I'll show you someone vulnerable to every negative current. But show me someone who wakes each day with a mission etched into their spirit, and I'll show you someone who cannot be capsized. To build this foundation, you must first decide, with terrifying clarity, what you truly desire. Not a vague wish, but a detailed vision. Then you must cultivate an unwavering belief that it is already yours in the realm of potential. Finally, you must act every single day in perfect alignment with that belief. No waiting for the right feeling. No outsourcing your motivation to the weather of external events. Let me tell you something the world has no interest in teaching you. The universe is not sentimental. It does not reward complaint. But it is ruthlessly responsive to conviction backed by consistent action. When a person decides at the deepest level that their mind is a fortress they will defend, and that quitting is not a part of their story, A hidden mechanism engages. Resources they didn't see appear. Synchronicities guide their steps. Inner strength they doubted they possessed rises to meet the challenge. And failure begins to look at them not as a victim, but as a worthy opponent. But this transformation demands a ruthless practice most people avoid. You must become the guardian of your mental gates. Negative thoughts are not casual tourists. They are spies seeking to map your weaknesses. If you let them set up camp, they will become an occupying army. You must conduct a daily audit of your cognitive landscape. Monitor your self-talk. The instant you catch your mind wandering into the swamps of worry, resentment, or self-pity, you must arrest that thought. Evict it. Then, immediately plant a new thought in its place, one of gratitude, of absolute faith, of declared strength. Say to yourself, I am built for challenges. My spirit is tempered steel. The same energy that spins planets flows through me. Now let's dismantle the most common disempowering lie. I'm just not a positive person. Nonsense. You were not born with a preset attitude. You were trained. Your environment, your experiences, your habits, they all wrote software on your mental hardware. But here is the glorious truth. Any software can be rewritten. The process is not magic. It is repetition. You do not rise to the level of your goals, but fall to the level of your mental systems. You become what you repeatedly do. You believe what you repeatedly hear yourself say. Your attitude will crystallize around the thoughts you host most frequently. Therefore, if you want a mind of diamond clarity and strength, you must curate its input with the precision of a master archivist. Feed it daily with narratives of courage, of overcoming, of truth. Speak words of power even when your circumstances whisper of limitation. Consume the ideas of those who have walked the path before you until their fire lights your own. There is no app for this. There is only the daily disciplined choice. And it starts with one decree: my attitude is mine to command. Not my past's, not my critics, mine. If you are committed to this path, you must understand the engine of autosuggestion. This is the process by which you deliberately reprogram the subconscious, the fertile soil of your being. Whatever you repeatedly impress upon it, with feeling and repetition, it accepts as a command. Your future is always first a private conversation you have with yourself. That inner dialogue is either building a cathedral of potential or quietly dismantling it, brick by brick. The individual who starts each day declaring, I am capable, I find a way, I am undeterred, begins to bend reality through the gravity of their conviction. The one who opens their eyes and mutters, this is too hard, nothing changes, why bother, has already lost the day before it begins. What the mind can vividly imagine and earnestly believe, it can ultimately achieve. What belief is not a one-time wish. It is a muscle forged in the daily furnace of repetition. It is not enough to want. You must condition. Spend 5 fierce minutes each morning speaking your future into existence. Not meekly, but with the full force of your will. Declare, my vision is clear. My resolve is absolute. I am a magnet for the opportunities I require. You may feel foolish at first. Good. That means you're challenging the old program. The subconscious isn't persuaded by fleeting emotion. It is persuaded by repetition, charged with emotion. Say it, feel it, repeat it, until the voice of your destiny drowns out the echoes of doubt. Now we go deeper. An unbreakable mindset is impossible without the counterpart of discipline. You cannot claim mastery over your mind if you are a slave to your impulses. You cannot hold a high vibration if you are addicted to low-frequency habits. Discipline is the scaffolding upon which dreams become tangible. Without it, intention is merely fantasy decorated with good intentions. The giants of industry and art I've studied did not ascend on talent alone. They ascended because they ruled themselves. They knew that the person who cannot govern their thoughts, their time, their focus, is a subject in a kingdom meant for sovereigns. So I ask you, what are you tolerating that drains your power? What distractions do you welcome that steal your focus? What petty comforts are you clinging to that are mortgaging your future? A resilient mind is not born on a comfortable couch. It is forged on the anvil of disciplined action, under pressure. It is created every time you choose the page over the screen, the early hour over the extra sleep, the constructive word over the easy complaint. Every choice for discipline is a deposit into your account of inner strength. Every surrender to laziness is a withdrawal from your potential. Now let's integrate perhaps the most transformative principle of all. Woven into the fabric of every setback is the thread of a proportional advantage, if you have the eyes to see it. If you truly embed this belief, you become unconquerable. You may be knocked down, you may hurt, you may face delays, but you will never be destroyed. Why? Because you'll know this is not a stop sign. It is a recalibration. Look at your own journey. Your most profound growth did not come during the easy stretches. It came when the ground fell away beneath you, and you had to decide what you were made of. Therefore, cultivate the habit of expecting both challenge and gift. Train your mind to reframe, this discomfort is strengthening me. This closed door is redirecting me to a better one. This weight is preparing me, and what happens? You become immovable. You become a problem that defeat cannot solve, because every impact only compresses you into a denser, more brilliant form of yourself. This leads to the core revelation. You are never truly a victim of what happens to you. You are only ever a victim of the meaning you assign to it. Two people can experience the same event. One is shattered by it, the other is shaped by it. The difference is found in the mental lens through which they view it. When life delivers a blow, you hold the gavel. Will you judge it as a curse, or will you recognize it as a harsh but necessary teacher? When trust is broken, you decide, will I let this make me bitter, or will I let it make me wiser, with stronger boundaries? You cannot control the first act of the play, but you are always the author of the second act. This is the alchemy of a master mindset. It doesn't avoid difficulty, it transmutes difficulty into data. It doesn't stop the rain, it learns to dance in the storm, finding a purpose in every drop. Be warned. As you change, you will meet resistance. Some will mock your commitment. They will label you unrealistic, a dreamer. Pay them no mind. Most people have made a quiet pact with mediocrity. They are comforted by shared hopelessness. They feel subconsciously accused by anyone who chooses to stand while they are sitting. You must perform radical surgery on your influences. Surround yourself with those who speak of what is possible. Distance yourself from those who specialize in what is not. Your environment is a stronger sculptor than your willpower. If you spend your days in a mental swamp, do not expect your thoughts to be clean mountain air. You must guard the doors of your perception with vigilance, for what enters your mind takes root in your spirit. Finally, understand this. You need no one's permission to claim this power. No certificate, no validation, no perfect conditions. You require only one thing, a decision. A decision to take full ownership of your cognitive space. A decision to lead your mind like a general leads an army, not follow it like a lost tourist. A decision to become the kind of person that cannot be broken, because your core attitude is set to unwavering. If you make that decision now, if you declare, from this moment, my mindset is not for rent to my circumstances. It is my permanent home, and I am its master. Then you have already crossed the most important threshold, because the world's energy flows toward those whose spirit remains upright even when the body is tired. You've listened this far. That tells me something significant. It tells me you are no longer content to just let life happen to you. You are ready to happen to life. And that journey begins and ends in the mind. The final critical layer in constructing an unbreakable mind is this: you must have a central purpose. Without a North Star, the mind is adrift, susceptible to every fear, distraction, and passing mood. It becomes a leaf in the wind. You must tether your consciousness to a goal so vivid, so personal, so immense that it pulls you forward with gravitational force. Not a casual interest, but a consuming obsession. Your central purpose is not just something you do. It is someone you become. Every monumental figure I've analyzed possessed this. They didn't merely want success, they were defined by their mission. Their purpose wasn't an activity, it was their identity in motion. So ask yourself with brutal honesty, what do I want so intensely that I am willing to endure periods of silence, criticism, and fatigue for it? What future is so compelling that the struggle becomes part of its beauty? Once you have it, brand it onto your subconscious. Voice it with passion each dawn and dusk. Visualize it as already complete. Write it down as an irrevocable contract with yourself. Vague hopes yield vague lives. Piercing clarity, however, issues a command that the very fabric of reality seems to obey. And once your purpose is fixed, once your central purpose is the sun in your mental solar system, your master mindset becomes more than a tool. It becomes your identity. Now listen closely. The individual armed with a clear purpose and a defended mindset is a force of nature. They may be slowed, but never stopped. They may fall, but the fall becomes part of their ascent. Why? Because they understand that attitude is the hinge on which the door of destiny swings. Your inner stance determines whether a setback is fossilized into a permanent barrier or alchemized into rocket fuel. But you must defend that mindset with a warrior spirit. Protect it from toxic inputs. This includes pessimistic people, fear-based media, and your own inner saboteur. It includes gossip, complaint, and any mental pattern that lowers your energy. It demands radical self-responsibility. No matter the event, own your response, shape its meaning, rise from its ashes. Never, ever outsource the power to define your life's narrative to another person or event. That sovereignty is yours, and yours alone. Let me speak directly to your core. You are not here by cosmic accident. You were constructed with intention, equipped with a unique contribution that the world is, consciously or not, waiting for. Your very existence is evidence that your potential is real, but it will remain latent if your inner world is cluttered with the rubble of fear, doubt, and excuse-making. Your primary task is to renovate your inner universe. Nourish your mind with the wisdom of those who transcended. Study the lives of giants. Speak declarations of intent. Take action that frightens your old self. And above all, think thoughts that elevate, expand, empower, and propel you forward. With each such thought, you expand. With each surrender to fear, you contract. Expansion or contraction, that is the fundamental choice of every day. Let me give you a principle that has never failed. Operate from the assumption that failure is an instructional fiction. I say this not as a platitude, but as a strategic weapon. Fear of failure has aborted more destinies than actual failure ever has. The phantom of defeat is often more paralyzing than defeat itself. But what if you erased the concept of failure? What if you adopted the view, I cannot fail, I can only collect data. I cannot lose, I can only learn and adjust. I cannot break, I can only bend and rebound with greater force. That, right there, is the genesis of an unassailable mind. Because hesitation evaporates. You move, you speak, you build, you lead. And in that state of decisive action, fear retreats, doubt scatters, and the world begins to reorganize itself around your certainty. Why? Because unwavering confidence is a rare and magnetic force. Those who embody it become leaders by natural right, regardless of title. Hear this final truth. No one ever reached their summit completely alone. But no one ever reached it by waiting for a cheering section to believe first. You must believe when others are skeptical. You must stand when others choose to sit. You must articulate your vision even while others might mock. You must lead even from a place of becoming, because the world instinctively follows those who dare to be mentally sovereign. So let me synthesize what is now yours to command. A perception that sees raw material in every obstacle. An inner voice that broadcasts courage into your nervous system daily. A purpose so luminous that shadows of fear cannot persist near it. A discipline so steadfast that weakness becomes an irrelevant concept. And a mental framework so resilient, so galvanized, that no storm can prevent your eventual arrival. This is not theory. This is law. These are immutable principles. They worked for the sculptors of civilizations, and they will work for you on the condition that you work them. So the pivotal question is not, do these principles work? The question, the only question that matters, is, will you? Will you rise each day and reclaim your mental throne? Will you speak with conviction even when your surroundings suggest otherwise? Will you persist when every fiber of your being screams for the comfort of surrender? Because if you do, you will build more than success. You will build a life of profound meaning, a life of depth, impact, and quiet power, a life that echoes through generations long after your time here is done. That is the promise of the master mindset. And it is available now. The transaction is simple. Your decision for your destiny. So I ask you, as someone who has walked this path and mapped its terrain, what is your decision? In that moment of silent internal choice, your new future begins. And from today forward, may every thought, every word, every action silently declare to the universe, I am anchored, I am in command, I am unbreakable. If this resonated with you, if you're ready to take command, then do two things right now. First, give this video a like. It tells the algorithm this message needs to reach more people like you. And second, subscribe to Winds of Thought. We go deeper here every week. Thank you for your time and attention.